Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday. Right? I didn't even realize it was Friday. Okay, let's go ahead and bring the camera on. Hey, oh no. Wait. Did my camera get messed? Oh no, hold on. Otherwise, that was going to bug everybody for the whole stream. Hi! Hey! It is Friday, January 23rd, YC128, or 2026 in normal time. Why is that still not working? Alright, so I do need to update the timestamps in the thing if you're... Yell at me if I haven't, if you're watching this recorded. But we are here in a game called Pax Dei. There is a reason. I'm not going to call it a good reason, but there is a good reason why we're covering it today. And I do want to go into that. But we are going to... I am quiet compared to the game. Okay, let's turn you down. In fact, actually, we're going to turn this from here to here. And then turn this down a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to be able to, like, listen to the scope video and stuff. God, hold on. Oh, that's right. Is that going to work? Okay, great. All right, so, first thing about this game, so first of all, before we jump into the game too much, today we're going to go over the scope video and the other news in Eve. So this is like an Eve Universe show kind of thing where we're going to talk about the scope video that just came out. But today we are going to be covering Pax Dei, and I will explain why, and then we'll jump into the scope stuff and then get back to it. So Pax Dei is an MMO that is actually produced by a bunch of people who left EVE Online, who were part of CCP. In fact, you know, there's this article, former EVE Online developers announced fantasy sandbox MMO. So that's my justification for why we're covering this on the main channel. But also, like, there is a lot of questions about, is Pax Dei basically a medieval EVE Online? So that's something that we're going to be exploring today. But before that, and unfortunately, hold on, actually, let me... So the first thing about Pax Dei, spoilers, this is actually like the actual game itself. That wasn't a loading screen or anything. That's just the way that the game looks. That view is just the view from my house in the game. But we will get into this in a little bit. I just want to turn down the volume a little bit, because unfortunately, like, I'm just going to have to play the volume, the video from the scope video. So we're going to hear a little bit of campfire in the background. Maybe. Oh boy, is the game going to actually play while streaming? We'll do this in parts. For now, we're going to cover the scope video. So let's jump into that. So there is a scope video today. It's been a little while since we've had any serious news, but today's scope video is mostly the actual content of the video itself is very much associated with player activity, but there are some very interesting things in the ticker. So we're going to watch the scope video all the way through, and then we're going to make commentary about it and go through the ticker and see what we have to say about it. All right, let's jump into it.
Fierce fighting has erupted in the Aquarius region as sovereignty holders Legion of X Death, members of the Phoenix Coalition, found a keep star in one of their geographically strategic systems under threat. On the 8th, only fleets anchored a Fortizar citadel in the storied system of 49TAC U6U, enabling them to lay siege to the directly adjacent keep star. In the final moments of the Fortizar anchoring and coming online, a small coalition with no official leadership or organizational structure, comprised of nearly 1,300 pilots across nearly 500 corps and 100 alliances, arrived to begin the attack. Legion of X Death had deployed Sinojammers in 49 TAC U6U and its neighboring systems, preventing the attackers' use of jump drives, forcing them to mobilize their fleet through multiple Stargate jumps. With the fleet's arrival and the Coalition's imposing sieging structures successfully deployed, the attack on the Keepstar commenced. Follow-up clashes on the 10th and 13th saw the battle rage for a further 13 hours as both sides deployed large fleets, each with support waves of ships being sent from their respective structures, before the Keepstar eventually succumbed, seeing nearly 1.5 trillion ISK destroyed surrounding the battle. With no formal ceasefire declared, tensions remain high in the region. Meanwhile, in the same day, a second Keepstar belonging to Dragon Riders Legion was destroyed by a group aligned with Fraternity and the Winter Coalition in the system of Satogas. The Scope reached out to the Upwell Consortium for comment regarding the recent surge in Keepstar losses. With 28 Keepstars destroyed in the last 2 months alone, concerns are mounting over the long-term survivability of these once-dominant Citadel structures. This is Alton Hovery, reporting for the Scope.
All right, so first of all, as TL points out, thank goodness for Warlock Industries being on the ball. I'm telling you, man, Warlock Industries may very well be currently the top EVE Online content creator. I'd be willing to listen to other things about it, but it's certainly basically he gets the up and comer award, or they get I don't know as much about them, but they keep coming up and they keep having they keep making a name for themselves, and they keep doing really good coverage and content. So yeah, definitely true. But either way, back to the Scope video. A little bit of criticism about the Scope video itself, just because hopefully it'll be helpful to CCP if nothing else. I really, again, this is we've been going over this, a lot more since they've kind of refined the way that Scope videos work and the new look of them. I do appreciate the fact that the Scope video, the content of the Scope video is player stuff. Because that's the thing that's going to catch a lot of people's attention, and that the ticker is a lot more of the lore stuff. It is good, of course, for Scope videos to directly tie into the lore, but honestly, getting people into Scope videos by having the Scope videos be about player stuff, I think is a really good thing for both Scope videos and for player stuff, right? And I have one of the things I always focus on is making sure that the video, because this is designed to be a lot more informative, right, about what's actually happening in EVE than a lot of the older Scope videos. So I do really first of all, some of these shots are amazing.
Death, members of the Phoenix Coalition.
CCP's gotten a lot better taking clips. Other content creators have gotten better at taking clips. Now, one thing I do, I will say that there is some contention on some of the details in here. I know on Reddit there is talking about the fact that one of the organizations, they got the attacker wrong or whatever. I'm not 100% sure on the details myself, so I'm not going to make the correction myself, but just realize that I think that there are some contested details in this story. But first of all, golly, what an impressive fleet and impressive shot. The number of Zenitras alone in this shot is truly mind-boggling. Especially considering how much it takes to make those. I do love the showing off of individual characters, especially as whatever. But one of the things I do find, I love these pop-up information, but I feel like there's sometimes some context errors with that information. So I do like the fact that they're showing ravens. They're showing ravens right here, and then the raven shows up. Now, I would love it if for somehow the camera could freeze and you outline the raven and then pull that out in order to show, okay, well, this ship here is a raven, and this is what that information about it is. If you're going to do it, that's just my I always think about doing that kind of thing if I'm going to do special effects in my videos and stuff. It's one of the things I always want to do. But the thing I don't like about this, though, is if you listen to what they're saying at the same time.
Comprised of nearly 1,300 pilots across nearly 500 corps and 100 alliances, arrived to begin the attack. Legion of X Death had deployed Sinojammers in 49.
So in that sentence, when they show the Raven, he says Legion of X Death deployed Sinojammers. That's two other pieces of information that some players may not know. Now, what's interesting about that is I think even later on, nope, they never actually like nail down who Legion of Death is. Like, they show off a couple of other people. It would have been a great time to show information about Legion of X Death, but also, and more importantly, like, you're just going to skip over the idea of what a Sinojammer is. Now, the news may not cover that every single time, but
arrived to begin the attack. Legion of X Death had deployed Sinojammers in 49 TAC U6U.
If I'm watching this video and I don't know what a Raven is, my question in this moment, trying to pay attention to what's going on, is what the hell is a Sinojammer? And so I've had this issue too before in my video creation. When I made the Who Are the Drifters video, one of the pieces of feedback that I got from Matterall that I ignored, and it still sticks in my head as being something, is that, like, I mention Isogen 5 and I talk about how it has gravitonic properties, but then I took, like, basically the entire text from Concord's analysis of Isogen 5 and put it on the screen. So that way somebody could read it if they wanted to, while I'm, like, mentioning it and then moving on. But the problem is that that's a lot of information to take on in reading, and now they're getting information from reading and getting information from me talking at the same time, and that can be somewhat discordant. Now, I had a lot of information to pack into a little bit of time, and I had two different kind of bandwidths. I had what I was saying, and I had what I could show on the screen. So if somebody wanted to pause it and read it, they could, and if they didn't, they could just breeze past it with what I had said. And that was my theory behind it, but it still got called out, and it's one of those things that I still kind of think about to that day. To bring that back to here, this feels even worse, right? Because if my mind is trying to think about what they're saying, and so my mind is trying to think about X-Death, Sinojammers, etc., but the information on the screen is showing a Raven, that can and the information about the Raven, which this is also pretty cool, right? The fact that it's designed by Ishikone Corporation, this is actual information about the Raven, which is nice, although it'd be kind of cool for them to also put things like, you know, specializes in long-range missile warfare, etc., etc., because the question is, like, who is this slide for, right? Somebody who may not necessarily know what the Raven is, and it's good to have this because the Raven is a good thing for a player that may not know fully what's going on to, like, hook into and be like, whoa, that thing looks cool, I want that. It is a very good thing for a player to want. It's a very good mission running ship. It's a very good PvP ship. It leads people into going into Caldari missiles, which is a very successful strategy in a lot of places. So this being in this video is really good. This being in this video right here, like, they obviously put it here because they show Ravens and then Raven, but I would have actually taken this entire clip with the Ravens and then to the Raven and put it at some other point in this video to make it so that at this moment you could actually put up a thing about potentially about Sinojammers or Sinos or Sinojammers and why that's so important, you know, etc. But either way, and then
their fleet through multiple Stargate jumps. With the fleet's arrival and the Coalition's imposing sieging structure successfully deployed, the attack on the Keepstar commenced. Follow-up clashes on the 10th and 13th saw the battle rage for a further 13 hours as both sides deployed large...
See, this one here, though, I don't know why he's being shown. Like, I would have to invest. I've now watched this a couple of times, and it doesn't immediately jump out at me as to why he's being shown right here. Hey, what's up, Morcar?
Each with support waves of ships being sent from their respective structures before the Keepstar eventually succumbed, seeing nearly 1.5 trillion ISK destroyed surrounding the battle.
See, again, so that also would have been a really good moment for a fly up to be like 1 point whatever trillion ISK. Like, put that into put that on the screen, big number on screen, but then also be like, what does that equate to, right? How much plex at this exact moment, you know, or whatever, to like people kind of, because that also helps. Now, if someone, even if they aren't really into Eve, watches this, like, hey, you know, like, somebody who is into Eve shows their friend who's not necessarily into Eve this cool thing that happened in Eve, because this is a real thing that happened. So anybody who's a participant in this, they might be wanting to show their friends. And so having the thing be like, oh yeah, by the way, 1 point whatever trillion ISK is X amount of dollars, that actually ends up, now that I'm saying it out loud, ends up breaking the fourth wall, because obviously the scope is an in-universe production, and that is an out-of-universe understanding. But you could, like, meet you halfway by putting it into perspective of like pilot license extension, right? Or Plex. Now, obviously that would require translation by the person showing the video, but at least, like, oh man, that's actually, now that the more I think about it, the more that's kind of tricky. And you don't want to put too much information into the video, but like, anytime you have a big number like that in a news story, you're going to want to put that big number on screen, right?
No formal ceasefire declared. Tensions remain high in the region.
Or how many
Meanwhile,
ravens?
the
Oh, no, they say how many ravens, because they say
E6U.
Over 870 presence during the final battle. So they do say that. Drake was pushed out during the initial establishment of Delve after the Goon move. The Legion kill was payback. Who's Drake? Wait, which Drake? What Drake? Yes, but it would be a good scale, 1 trillion to 1,000 ravens. But yeah, yeah. If you could somehow phrase it in universe as like X number of months of clone contract maintenance, then at least people would know, like, oh my god, this is, you know, 2 years of game time or whatever. Oh, this guy. Well, wait, this guy? Oh, can I bring in my Drake? Got it. Well, okay, but that's my point, is that, like, so it's good to put information like this on the screen. It is better when that information is related to what is being said at the moment, or what's going on, and if it isn't, it risks causing a moment of confusion and disquiet within the mind, right? Like the fact that even if they mention that somewhere else in the screen, in the thing, the fact that he's shown here at this point when they're not talking about it makes me be like, wait, who is that guy? And the problem is that once you, this is only a 2-minute long video, once you like get someone confused even for a moment, that really detracts from their understanding of everything else going on in the video, right? But yeah, I guess ships, I mean, ships could be fun too, but that's also more of an understanding for players. Just big number on screen is good. Big number on screen would be good. I mean, in universe, you could be like, this could feed a, like, you know, they could actually put in some fun, like, the other way you could go is put some fun Eve universe, or like lore data on there. Like, it's 1 trillion ISK, which is the GDP of an entire planet in every shore. Fun fact. But yeah. All right. Either way, so my point is that I really do like these new scope video formats, and what I've seen in comments and stuff is that a lot of other people do as well. And there is really good videos, like footage in all of this. both in like the game footage and like the special effects and stuff. I love what they're doing with highlighting like this information. That's why I am being so specific about how it can be improved, because I think that this is like very, very valuable stuff. It would be even better if like maybe at the end, you know, they have had things where it's like at the end there's like the closeout section, and it could be cool if the scope videos actually went to a closeout section that maybe directed people towards EVE Academy or other EVE training videos, getting started in EVE type stuff, just so that everything always kind of like has a proper call to action. They need to compete with Warlock Industries. I don't think you're going to compete with Warlock Industries. That's my point. The scope just needs to get quotes from the groups involved during these. The scope vids used to be very immersive. Yeah, they're like, I mean, I'm sure that they do different things at different times, and there's probably a whole production thing to this. When they can get quotes from FCs and stuff, that is really great. Okay, great. So let's jump into the lore side of things, the ticker. Okay, so Thucker caravans harvest phase fields in Great Wildlands, boosting Republic economy. I feel like, first of all, actually, now that I've said that, I want to check something. Before I get any deeper, I want to see, because there was a whole thing about this, right? Thucker nomads prosper and rapid response doctrines enable phase field exploitation. Yeah, like I said this when they did this first one. Uh-oh, hold on. I'm streaming, right? Sorry, my YouTube live streaming page is like, there it is. Oh my God. Was like showing me that I wasn't connected or something. I don't know. All right. It's never mind. That was 100% me. Okay, great. So, I think that this is just an attempt to kind of make sure that what's going on in like is related to the universe. Like the universe is reacting to these new things, not just us. So, you know, phase fields are of course the new gold rush mechanic that was added in to during Catalyst, and they can appear in low-sec and null-sec. And so the idea is that Thucker, who live in Great Wildlands, have been, and are also one of the most mobile organizations in EVE, have been kind of the in-universe group best, or at least most visually capitalizing on the phase field production, which can be interesting because there is very much rumors that the phase fields are coming from the manipulation in the wormholes. Thucker caravans very connected to wormholes and nomad living, and so you know, you could theoretically wonder if there's a sus nature here, especially with like Ore having the phase field beacons already ready to go when the phase fields were first revealed. You know, there is a bit of a sussiness here, but hard to say. I think it's just like the Thucker of all of the Empire groups are probably the most ready to be the group capitalizing on phase fields. Now, the next two are the ones that got a lot of viewers of the stream, or people in the Discord, at least, got their attention. Approval polls plummet for President Salas Agard, and President Agard declines to respond to latest calls for election. I recently have done a two-part video on the entire history of Gallente, well, not entire of Gallente presidential election, but the entire history of Salas Agard, and the history of the Gallente presidency as like in the course of EVE Online. So basically from 2008 onward, over the course of a couple of videos. But the short of it is, of course, that we should have had an election literally a year ago. It was postponed because of the Drifter crisis, which ended over 6 months ago, and somehow Salas Agard has managed to not have an election yet again. And this is becoming an increasing problem. And, you know, they're still at least like keeping that string alive, and it's going to get even, it looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better, right? When it comes to all of this. Now, this next one did also confuse a few people. So just to be very clear, it says every shore Senator Tenzin calls for revoke of Aid Act amidst rising unemployment. Now, what actually is going on here is no, this is, wait, I thought I had the other, no, hold on. I had another page ready to go. Where? No? Did I not? Oh my gosh, I messed it up. All right, well, basically, I think it was 2 years ago now? Like, around the time that they put in the home fronts, Celis Agard put up, like, she had done her industry bill, and so built the Stargate to Solitude. It was kind of the height of her political, like, power and effectiveness. And then she gets the United Response Act passed, which was pretty controversial because it effectively federalized the industry sector of the Gallente, which is ironic because that's like how the political situation started, with Rodin refusing to follow Soroforoten when he tried to federalize the industry system, or, you know, the industry of Gallente. So 20 years later, they're all cool with it now. Or 10 years later, whatever. Any rate, but then once she passed the United Response Act, which was already pretty controversial, she immediately turned around and got the Automated Industry Development, I think it is, Act, so AID Act, which was supposed to, like, really buff up their use of artificial intelligence and automation in their industry systems. And this was about the same time that Upwell was coming out with their Equinox platform, which was allowing people to become like clone workers for Upwell. And she really liked that, by the way. So, but then this idea of like the Automated Industry Act ended up causing a lot of oh yeah, that's where I posted this in, never mind, I'm sorry, I did get this right, but I posted it in the Eve Universe Show channel in Discord, and I set it up so that way I could pull it up when I was ready, and then I didn't. So hold on. So we have Federation Senate passes Automated Industry for Democracy Act with comfortable majority. The Gallente Federation Senate has passed the Automated Industry for Democracy Act into law. Despite ongoing protests over the United Response Act, 2/3 of the Senate backed the bill proposed by President Celis Agard, which loosened the legal restrictions on AI development. This includes an updated definition of restricted AI that no longer is in conformity with all Concord guidelines. President Agard has refused to request a comment for any differences between the new Federation legislation and Concord's more stringent requirements, but was willing to say that she took the view that Federation's previous laws had been outdated, and the President added that, quote, in order to maintain a competitive advantage in the Federation must not be afraid to play to its strengths. Advanced robotics have always been one of those strengths, and the AID Act will free our citizens from drudgery with more efficient automation. Let machines do repetitive and taxing work. Let the people use their talents to build a better future and a stronger democratic nation. Concord's Department for Restrictions in Artificial Intelligence and Life, DERAIL, has issued an official statement condemning the changes to Federation law as reckless and short-sighted. When asked if Concord leadership has any plans to intervene, representatives were quick to play down the threat as bringing the matter before the Inner Circular Concord Assembly, but added that, quote, we will be watching closely and judging any future development by our own standards, not by the scales adjusted to suit any single empire or nation. So remember, the Gallente are kind of desperate. They've been on the back foot. They're the only people that have not gotten themselves a drifter wormhole, and they are also pushing the bounds of artificial AI, artificial intelligence research beyond the limits that regulation allows. Very spooky stuff. But then there was a whole thing that there were, in fact, protests. Yeah, Gallente Federation President Agard welcomes the innovation of the Upwell's Equinox program. Labor populist critics of the program has accused the president of attempting to head off mounting unemployment crisis. According to Labor Populist, Agard's Automation Industry for Democracy Act has resulted in lost jobs throughout the Federation. They now accuse her of embracing Upwell's plan as a quick fix to the issue without having considered the need for ethical safeguards. And then we see down here in the news and brief, or no. Never mind, that's it. And so there was, you know, this idea that widespread unemployment was the result of the Aid Act and that the labor populists were the main critics of it. So going back to the scope, we see Every Shore Senator Tenzin, who Tenzin is a senator, guy, girl, I don't know, that has never been mentioned before in any other lore that I've been able to find. And so seems to be a new character. But Every Shore, as a region, is actually the region that contains both the home planet of the Manar and the Yinmei, which makes it very interesting for Celis Agard, because Celis Agard, you know, is Yinmei and has often had the support of Yinmei. So I don't know exactly who this guy is, or this person is, I should say. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Uh-oh, where's my... Sorry, that was my dad. I actually thought this morning was Saturday, not Friday, and so like I'd been operating as if today was Saturday. So I called my dad at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, "I was at work." I'm like, "Of course you were." My bad. All right. So could those AI be emergent AI? Well, I mean, that's a whole other story where we can track stuff about the University of Kali. There's been stuff about the AI research centers in Gallente space. They were raided a while ago. Like, there has been stuff about the development of AI within Gallente space, or within the Gallente, that's been pretty sus. But the point is that I guess I wonder, like, because remember the civil war in Chandeli is like over, more or less. So like, I wonder whether or not this has something to do with the caste system within the Yinmei. I want to know more about like who in Every Shore is this struggle about. Because this seems like the exact base of Celis Agard. So, you know, her approval's going down. The very people that would be like her core support base are actually calling to revoke her big policy. It doesn't seem good. All I'm saying is that the drifters are a drifter. The Gallente are a drifter plot at this point. I mean, sure, why not? Conflicts between Winterco and the Initiative escalating Cloud Ring. There's obviously player stuff. Azrael and Revenant destroyed in brazen operation led by Snuffed Out. Also, you know, player stuff, but funny. And then following a months-long campaign, Mimitar Militia regains control of the Ugidi Constellation. That is also lore stuff. That's actually what we were looking at the other day when we were looking at faction warfare stuff. You know, that whole constellation up there has been taken by the Mimitar. They've been really, really aggressive recently. So, but I do wonder, because like I still feel like the next big thing. So, oh, apparently if you don't do things for long enough, you get logged out. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So these three things being in the news. Like, on the one hand, CCP, at least on some levels, know that they kind of dropped the ball with the presidential election. On the other hand, as I said before, like, CCP absolutely, like, so we've got FanFest in less than 4 months, and then we've got the Vanguard open beta, I think it is, call it within 8 months, right? So they have to get from where we are now to that being a thing in that, or whatever happens, whatever the next expansion is, and then however that leads into Vanguard and Bastions. We did see that new post on Vanguard website about Bastions, so I expect to see more about like the development of the Vanguard, the development of Bastions, like the development of a Bastion that isn't Avalon. In other words, isn't the the Deathless's Vanguard, which would make it the very first like purely independent of the Deathless Vanguard group. Whether that will be SOE or some other group that ends up pulling it off first, SOCT maybe. We don't know. But these are all pieces that need to happen within the next few months. But I still think that the number one thing, like before almost anything else can be dealt with, the Gallente election has to be addressed, right? Or at least the fact that they aren't doing an election has to be addressed. The fact that the president is actively refusing now to even make excuses why the election isn't happening. It feels like we're getting closer and closer to that having to like be a bigger thing. I'm always concerned about this because, we've been saying that the presidential election needs to happen for a year now. But like, it is true that CCP as a company, like the storytellers, the people that manage this thing, like they can't go to the next beat. The Gallente can't act in any normal way to any event that's going on at this point, because the legitimacy of the presidency is going to only become increasingly in question as they try to act normal. So very interested where this is going to go, and we're going to be paying attention to that. As I've said, if you haven't already, go back and watch my videos about the Gallente presidential election. I'm going to try to make like a video out of it probably, but I'm also, look, I've got strengths and weaknesses, and apparently one of my weaknesses is making myself getting around to actually doing the editing. So if anybody wants to help with that, I'm more than willing to provide you pretty much anything you want to need. But yeah, Vanguard, and I can't wait to set boots on the ground. Yes, again, Drifter Crisis 3, Crisis Harder. Well, now the crisis is that they won't put out their own, like they did there's a whole bunch of stuff in that video about Cells Agar. Go watch it. Either Gallente Civil War or Agar takes off the mask and is Strategos. Yeah, I think it could be weird. I don't know if the Civil War is quite the way it is, but like a rogue presidency within the Gallente is an interesting theme. But as was pointed out earlier in chat, like there's a certain like I've always found it true that weirdly enough, like CC, like in game lore and real life going-ons have like a weird reflection to each other. And I used to feel like CCP was like doing it on purpose, but then I realized how often it was that like EVE Online did it first and then reality echoed it. So I don't know, man, buckle up. But yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting because it's like sci-fi is a good place to explore real things with far enough distance that you can actually address things in a way that you can't with real life stuff. It's a little bit too raw. But at the same time, like, I don't know how much people have an appetite for that at the moment, but we'll have to see. I think they were hoping Vanguard would be further along so they could tie it with the Gallente situation into it. I don't think so, because they gave the due date for Vanguard like last FanFest. So they pegged Vanguard coming out this summer at the beginning of last summer. Is my computer hold? Okay, I'm actually going to... What am I going to do to make sure that I have plenty of resources? Let me see here. Let me close some extra things. I think that that's about it for today's scope video, though. So we're going to jump into the rest of the topics for the day. I don't know if this is going to be edited out, but if it is, I've been Ashrathi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put even to context for you, my fellow Imperians. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you have any thoughts about the presidential election? Were you at any of these keep star kills, etc., etc.? I'd love to hear it. But without further ado, I want to give a special thanks to my top supporters and all of you who become members, but of course my top supporters who are not being pulled up. 745 MPSI, Arydanika the Queen, Bad Boy Smooth, Ebo Elite, Erladis, Elange, Flash Gordon, May, Malak Starfire, Malin, Mercuton, Mayak, Neelam, LM1, Sheesh, Susuro, Thrans, and Rid, my Immortal tier supporters. If you want to become a supporter, please just consider becoming a member or a patron, etc., etc. But I do want to just thank all of you who watch my videos all the way through, like and comment and all that stuff. But I've been Ashrathi, the voice of New Eden. Until next time, I'll see you in space. Okay. All right. Okay. Let us continue. Are the Galente coming? I will say, okay, I'm not going to get political about any, I'm going to avoid getting overly political on this channel about real life politics. But I will say that when Trump kept referring to Greenland as Iceland, it got me to like perk up, and I was like, oh no, like I was just waiting for like some sort, like where that because there has been a couple times where real life news has directly tied into like our little Eve bubble in weird ways, like Iceland coming up, or like you know, even Sean Smith, Vile Rat, you know, being associated with the Benghazi event. You know, like it's always like anytime I hear anything that makes me think about Eve, like is connected to Eve, but is coming from like proper news sources, I kind of get a little bit spooked out and want to hide. Okay, so Pax Dei. Pax Dei, why are we doing this? Why are we talking about this? Well, because as I said at the beginning of the stream, CCP, or, you know, some previous developers of EVE Online, basically, some people from CCP, Blizzard, and Ubisoft, you know, went and made their own company called Mainframe. And they this is their main offering. It's called Pax Dei. And a lot of people have called it a lot like EVE Online. You know, in fact, here's this: Pax Dei is medieval Eve. Now, is that true? Spoiler alert, I would not, like, in a vacuum call this medieval Eve. Now, there's definitely some pieces I get where the argument comes from. So today we're going to talk a lot about, like, as an EVE player, is it enjoyable? How is it like EVE? How is it not like EVE? And you know, whatnot. So I have only been playing this game now for 2, 3, 4 days. And I've been playing it with Malak a little bit. So all of the progress that I've made is thanks to Malak. So I want to stress that first of all. But so, you know, obviously Albion Online is the other big comparison to EVE Online. But again, this is, you know, everywhere that you see about this, they say, oh yeah, former EVE executives, or not executives, developers are making this game. And when I read reviews about it, it actually reminds me a lot of EVE, to be honest. And by that I mean that the reviews of the game are largely, we're going to call it mixed. With, I think that the quote that I saw that seemed to be the sentiment that a lot of people resonated with was the idea that the juice was quote unquote not worth the squeeze, right? And that got my attention. And also the thing is that people talk a lot about how this game essentially requires friendship. This requires you can be solo in this game, but it is pretty brutal. And some other aspects of it that are very Eve-like, in the fact that like everything in the game is crafted by players, right? And so and there is like a market or whatever. So like the idea of like the open market and the fact that everything in the game basically exists because a player made it exist. That is absolutely like that is the heart of Eve that they take on. And so the best MMOs are solo if possible, but friendship is best. And a lot of MMOs have kind of gone that route, right? Like look at SWTOR or Final Fantasy XIV, right? These are games that are basically role-playing games that happen to exist in an MMO, right? But EVE Online and a lot of other games like it have a tendency to double down on that. And I think that there could be a space for both. And this game at all times basically is trying to continually kind of push you into being friends. Now, is this exactly like Eve? No. The biggest thing an Eve player will see and kind of scoff at when it comes to this game is that it isn't full force like what is it? Basically no whole bar, no, or like full on PvP, right? There are areas in the game where you cannot fight other players. We're in a relatively starter area. In fact, most of the game, this guy over here put up his house, and I have my house here. You can see my house's territory. My boundary of my house goes up to here. He put down his house over here. I can't do anything about this, right? If I don't like the fact that this guy is here, as far as I know, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't go to war with him. I can't, whatever. The only thing I can do is like come over to my house and put up a giant sign that says, I don't like you, or, whatever. Now, I obviously picked this house because of this incredible view that I found. But like there is no like open world PvP in all areas. You're not, undocking is consent to PvP. If you leave your plot, you are consenting to PvP. That's not a thing in the game. There are multiple regions. And so like when I left this area, or when I die in this area, which is like the starter area, I wake up with all my stuff. When I go across the boundary here to this area, when I die, my body is left behind there, and I have 2 days to go and recover it before other people can theoretically get it, I think. Likewise, if I kill something here, I have exclusive rights to that thing that I've killed for, I think, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and then somebody else could theoretically go after it. Nobody can actually attack my house unless I allow them to, etc., etc. So there is a lot of that, like, hardcoreness of Eve in the player interaction side of things that is a lot softer in this game. Now, the way there is like PvP zones, and obviously those are like the most rewarding areas. So there's like a nullsec region, which is PvP, but it airs much more on the side of, cozy experiences between players outside of those regions, right? So, but the big way that this is like Eve is the fact that it is a sandbox, right? Now, what is a sandbox? So there's, theme parks and there's sandboxes. Theme parks are about having rides, which are like activities that you do, and rides usually have prizes. You ride your rides and you get your prizes and you get your tickets, right? So, WoW is a classic theme park where it's got all kinds of dungeons and raids and PvP activities, but everything's kind of, it's an activity that's kind of constructed for you, and there's rewards for it. that are extrinsically built into those things. In a sandbox, sandboxes are about having a space and giving people creative tools to be able to shape that shared reality. The difference here is in WoW, I think they did finally put up housing, but there's like, but the point is that 90% of your interactions, are not going to be player controlled. Players can't even drop something on the ground for somebody to stumble upon, even in those worlds. Whereas in a sandbox, you can shape, you have the ability to shape the collective reality, right? And this is how Eve is a sandbox, you know, being able to put up structures, being able to put up, you know, take sovereignty, the fact that, you know, the interconnected nature of the market, the fact that things are player built, you know, these are sandboxy elements because we are constructing the reality instead of a theme park where the reality is constructed for us. And the most like solid way outside of the fact that everything being built by players is the fact that so much of this game is surrounded around your house. Like having a house is the whole thing. Like the whole point of this game is that over time, this area, which is wild and waste or whatever, or, you know, basically wildland, over time, this area will become increasingly populated, civilized, and whatnot. And in fact, if we go back to kind of like this actual starter area, which you can teleport to, you'll see that there's all kinds of different buildings, and like there's an actual almost village coming together of player-built structures. And like this is actually the impressive thing in this game, in my opinion. And talking to Malak, I think that this is kind of what has caught his eye too, in the fact that like oftentimes in these kinds of games, even in WoW, the housing, if you give players the ability to kind of make their own stuff within the universe, the stuff that they make are going to be garish and jarring. You can't force a player to buy in to the aesthetic and the world. But I'm not sure exactly what is making this work with Pax Dei. Maybe it's because it's such a struggle to get everything done, and so it's a lot of work. Maybe it's because of the tools that are given to us kind of lend themselves to this. But these are player-built structures. These are player-built houses. None of these are... I don't think... Okay, this one over here, like there's a ruin over here. This ruin over here, this is already here. All of these other buildings are player buildings. Like if I go over here, I'm sorry, if my game is my game running super choppy? How is everything running right now? Well, it's also interesting because like, so people have to, this is also where the paid version of it comes in, right? Because like you can with in-game effort and in-game currency build or like maintain one plot, but you can pay for up to 4 plots at a time. Okay, it's a little choppy. I'm just going to close all of my browser windows just in case. Hopefully that'll free up some stuff. I mean, admittedly, my game is also a little choppy at the moment, so... But, like, I can go up to this box. Yeah, this is a person's box. Or a clan's box. This is a person's house. So, like, this clan has come together and put all their, like, spaces together and made this little... full-on little village, which is really cool. And the game is actually really good about this. You know, you saw that Malak and I have our spots right next to each other. They actually butt up against each other, and we both are in the same clan, and we've set our space to the same clan. So, like, we can both use each other's stuff perfectly fine. And that's... So, like, this is where this shines. Like, it's about the world itself and learning more about it and mastering it and building your home and your contribution to the public space. I don't know what that sound was. I should also probably turn this up a little bit again. Can I turn this down even further? No.
This is where we belong. Exploring this vast and wondrous world.
Oops, hold on. That is a video. Okay. I've turned down the quality a little bit. So whatever. Hopefully that'll help. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't quite decided how much we're going to get into this game, if we're going to. If people are interested, I think that we might dabble in it a little bit. And, you know, we do have a clan, so you can come and play with us if you want. Just hit us up on the Discord. If there's enough interest, we might have to put in new rules or whatever. But I wanted to show off a little bit. So here's a young boar. One of the cool things about this game is that it is also a little bit like Eve in the fact that like the gear that you wear controls what abilities you have, right? So like the weapon that I use controls what special attacks I have, and also the gear that I use gives me abilities too. Like the boots that I have gives me this, like, basically magical spells come from your ability, your items. So my boots allow me to be faster for a few seconds without consuming stamina. I've also got my chest piece gives me a heal that I can use outside of combat. Another piece of gear makes it so I can like turn on a bleed effect, so I can heal myself by doing damage. And there's all kinds of different ways to develop that. And there's tons of skills and things to unlock and things to hunt down and things to explore. It's a very, very complex game. It did get put into 1.0 3 months ago, so I will warn you that if you're going to look up anything about the game, like there's a lot of content that was made a year ago when it like came into early access, and then more content that was put out about 3 months ago when it got put into 1.0. I would probably disregard, especially combat stuff that's talked about more than 3 months ago, because they did a pretty significant overhaul of the combat system, from my understanding. Again, I've only been trying to figure this out for like 2 or 3 days, so I could be very, very wrong about stuff. Let me see. Stream health. Can I see that? Stream is healthy. But now I want to get back to home, and then we can start up my next goal. I think I saw this on stream. Only really know Elder Scrolls games, but what this like? Yeah, well, like, and that's one of the things that I'm kind of interested in. Obviously, like, you know, I do stuff like lore and deeper understanding of things. We have kind of played it in such a way that like we've tried to not look a lot of stuff up. I've started looking up a lot of more stuff recently, but like we've kind of wanted to just roam around and explore this world for what it is and see what kind of progress we can make. I will say another thing about this that is different than Eve is that like you can't just get the best gear and then be the best. And also, like, skills aren't trained over time. So if you want to get a good sword, you not only have to actually get the good sword, but you're probably going to have to go hit a lot of things with a not so good sword in order to get your sword skill good enough to be able to use the good sword, right? Like right now, I have a bronze sword, and even if Malak gets good enough to forge me an iron sword, I won't be able to use it because I need to kill more things with this sword to get experience, so that way I can use the iron sword. So like, and this is true about all kinds of things, including crafting, which is why, like, one of the reasons why I think that they say that having a group is important, because like having specialty roles within your group is where things really play out, which is the thing that I really wish Eve did more too. But either way, whatever. Like even in like combat and stuff, you can do stuff solo, but if you can get people in a group that have specific roles, like you have your healer, you have your DPSer, you have your, you know, tank or whatever. Like that can be a lot more efficient than a person trying to single-handedly take on whatever dungeons or whatever there is. So my goal, my thought is, if I'm going to be playing this game, you know, I try to, like, if I am going to have to pick a path, you know, I could do whatever I want. Well, just saying you can do whatever you want is not always particularly useful, right? So you got to find a path. So, and I think this is honestly one of the reasons why people roleplay, because you can't be everything. So the question is, what is it that you're going to be? And having a character that you're role-playing helps kind of solidify what that means. So in this case, so in Eve, as Asherothi's character kind of formed, a big piece of it was like, Eve is a sci-fi dystopian story about post-humanism. And, you know, Capsuleers are basically monsters. In any sci-fi story, the Capsuleers would be the main villains. They would be the Cylons, right? And so that idea of, like, what does it mean to be a transhuman Capsuleer immortal god in a world full of normal people, or a universe full of normal people, what would that do to somebody, is what led to my idea about Asherothi being the kind of character that she is. And what she leans into. I leaned into the idea of what does it mean to be a Capsuleer. So she's a very quintessential Capsuleer. So in this game, like, there's a lot to discover. And of course, with my channel and everything, learning things, understanding things. Oh my gosh, here's another phone call, and this time it's my son. So you will wait once more. Yay, my son wants to come over today. That's really cool. All right, so in this game, I want to be, like, this game is about discovery, and it's, you know, or more importantly, my relationship to this game is about discovery and learning and wanting to unravel things, because I know that there is some lore and there's more complicated things to get into. So I want to be the wizard. I'm also, of course, working on my own wizard game. That's about, like, how to actually capture the essence of being a wizard. And I think that being a wizard is about knowing more than other people, right? And having a deeper understanding of how the universe works on a level that most people aren't even willing to tackle. And so I've decided that, like, if I'm going to be playing this game, that's my shtick. So I'm going to be the wizard. Now, this is a very low fantasy. There is magic and there is gods, but it certainly isn't like fireball, fireball, fireball kind of world, right? So that's actually going to be good for me, because I don't want just like, I'm a level 9 wizard, so now I get lightning bolt. That's not the kind of wizard I want to be. I want to be a wizard that, like, really tackles things. And so I'm going to go with alchemy, you know, butchery potentially, and forging, but, you know, all that kind of understanding the world. And my goal for my house is to develop, like, if I can, I don't actually know if I can, but I want to make, like, a master library, and, like, so have this area, like, I want to create this aesthetic of, like, this guy that has, like, all of the different herbs and all the different books and reference materials and stuff, and can, like, pull out the weird random thing for people to help them out. But otherwise it's super annoying, because we'll never stop talking about weird things that they know that everybody else doesn't. And this is a great view. So that is kind of where I am going. I'm like a young Gandalf. Yeah, except for Gandalf is actually an angel. So wrong wizard, but close. Oh, you're talking about me. Like, actual me. I mean, I do like the wizard aesthetic in real life, too. What can I say? Okay, so, that said, I want to do alchemy. In order to do alchemy, alchemy is a pain in the ass, by the way. So, the first thing you got to do is make these distilleries, which requires copper, which isn't easy, or isn't like immediately a thing that you can do. Thankfully, Malak has made me 3 of these. But the other big thing that you need is glass. I need a lot of glass because I need a lot of jars. And unfortunately, I have some glass now, but I don't have... Like, I could go learn to go craft these jars myself. I can come over here to Malak's area. He has a forge. And so I can craft these, but I only have a moderate success rate on these. So basically, if I make these, it's going to be 50-50. And these take 10 glass for every 5 vials. And glass takes these furnaces. This is not doing glass. This is doing glass. So it takes, the glass takes 40 sand, 20 charcoal, which these are fairly, the charcoal, that's why you see all these big piles of fire, is a lot of trying to generate charcoal. The sand is easy to farm, but the problem is that the crafting itself takes 40 minutes. So that's why we have all these different forges all going and cooking. And so, like, it takes 40 minutes per 10 glass. So it isn't just enough to have the glass. This is 6 times that. So I'm going to put this stuff in this box so that way Malak can take it, or I guess Azareth in this game, can take it and turn it into jars for me. Because that's what I really need. And I don't trust myself to make them. He's already gone through the work to get his crafting for that up. So I'm going to let him make me the jars. I don't know if he already has. And at some point, I think he's going to actually jump into comms with me. But until then, we are going to keep going. So I have all these different herbs and stuff that I've collected. And we're going to go out and get some in a little while. I also have another goal that we want to get done on stream today, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. You have some closest to your plot. Okay, got it. Is this my Dropbox now? Is that what this is? Oh, hell yeah. All right, so I've got 50 jars now. This is going to be good, guys. So I have these distillers, which take the doodad, like whatever the material that I'm trying to do, and then charcoal and water. So I have this, I had to build this well that generates water for me, and I needed to do the charcoal so that way we can do these extracts, and then this takes 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever per extract to cook, which is why I have 3 different ones for different materials at different times. Then I had to do all, get the jars, as we already showed, with the extract and more water, and that gives me a chance to be able to craft the stuff. Now, in order to level up, which is what I'm really trying to do, I have to craft something that isn't trivial. But I want to, like, the higher the chance of you doing it, of being successful, the better that it is for crafting. So we are going to craft as many weak potion 1s that it takes to level up. So when you're crafting, you can see that there's this middle line, right? And it goes red from one side, blue from the other. And whichever side gets crossed, this is the red, the middle part first, is either success or failure. So that last one was a failure because the red went first. The first one and the most recent one were successes because the blue got all the way across. And we can see that my experience in alchemy is going up per crafting. And now I need more water. So we come down here, we pick up some water, and then I put more into the oven. So this takes 30 minutes per thing of water to get. So I just keep that constantly running. So that way there's always water in the reserve when I need it. And we get back to crafting. Yeah, it is very similar to New World. Although I do like the kind of the focus on the homesteading and like the building up of your space. Okay, so now, in order to get level, I can do Aegis Potion or Weak Token Tonic of Vitality. So I'm going to go with... It actually doesn't matter. Short respite from incoming blows. Let's try to craft one of these just so... Or we'll craft one or two of these just so we can give them... Or test them out to see how good they are. Come on, come on. Yeah! That's a success. Yay! Alright, great. So I'm out of vials now, so we're going to have to wait like another 3 hours for me to be able to do more crafting, unless he crafts them into vials. So you can already see kind of how this is very complex. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and more importantly, I'm actually having to work with a teammate even to get basic stuff done. But I'm going to put in that basket that you put all my stuff in, I'm going to put some weak healing potions, and where's that other one that we did? Aegis potion. We can split that. Wait. This is just wrong. This says E to consume, right click to split one. I hit right click and it didn't split it. It just consumed it.
You have to drag it over.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
All right, well, I put a couple of the potions in there for you to experiment with, potentially. Mine...
Okay.
Apparently... Okay, well, it lasts for 24 seconds. And I guess I didn't notice it was ticking. All right, so now, while we let things go... Oh, am I gonna make...
You got more...
Okay, let's cook more potions then, real quick. We'll do some weak tonic of vitality. Hey. I'm getting lucky. That's good. Now I think that there's like spells and stuff that you can get, or blessings that you can get that actually makes your crafting better, but I don't know how to get those, so.
I think it's under H.
Oh. Is it something we just get? H. Oh, hey, look at this. Summon my body, summon best friend. Okay, crafting. Oh, hey, look at this. But it costs... Oh... It costs grace. Okay, well that's important to know. Grace is... What do we even call it? Is it... Would you call it the premium currency?
I mean, you can't buy grace, but it's... I mean, it's definitely a currency.
Okay, you're right. Well, the big thing about grace that I know of is that... So you can buy it with gold. But also, grace is important because it powers your spell, but it also... A certain amount of grace per month is how you manage to maintain your plot, even as a free-to-play account. So that's why I thought it was the premium currency, because I know that it, like, collecting grace is like a big piece of like the gameplay if you're trying to plex your, or, you know, pay for a premium account effectively. Okay, so shoot, I was still crafting. I guess we can just do Oh yeah, I don't... Well, yeah, I put away the stuff for the Aegis potion. Let's just do these. I do like the fact that you can, like, say, hey, just keep crafting until you run out of stuff. So that way I can, like, go to the bathroom or get some food while I'm crafting. I'm obviously not going to do that today or right now, but, like, it has been convenient. Come on. No, no, come on. Yes. Hey, Alchemy 5. Hell yes. Okay, so now I actually do want to create more Aegis potions. Good to know. All right. We're going to just drop all these extracts into here. And put these potions. Weak tonic of vitality. Where's the other one? That's what, no, we did the, wait. Oh yeah, okay, they went down here with the Aegis potions that I already had. Got it. Awesome. Excellent. Now we're going to drop off the rest of my inventory and we're going to go exploring. Put the water in here. Okay. So, what is it that I want to do today? Today's thing is actually trying to find limestone. So, there's a material of limestone that we actually do need for a couple of things. Specifically, lime is used to make inferior leather. And inferior leather is used to make a bunch of other stuff that I don't know because I can't make it. But
it's used to make suede, which is like the next thing up for leather.
oh, good, they can hear you. I had to check. Yeah, so yeah, basically tier 2 leather armor or leather equipment, and that's good. So we need to have that, but we haven't been able to find it yet. Although I did.
I found it.
Oh, you're ruining my stream. No, I'm just kidding. Where is it? At the quarry area?
So you go to the quarry and then you go up the hill.
Okay, so we're gonna.
I think it's still north, but yeah.
Check that out. And see what we find in the meantime. I've got plenty of inventory space. Oh, shoot. Nope. Never mind. Hold on. I died a couple times the other day, so I really need to, like, repair my gear. I haven't figured out what it takes to repair gear yet. I just know you can. Like, it just says repair items. It doesn't seem to cost me anything. So, there we go. We've repaired. When you die, you do damage a bunch of your, or like your equipment does get damaged, but it doesn't look like it's that painful if you can just repair that way. We have plenty of clay. Do we need any, like, meat or anything? Oh, shoot.
We definitely need copper and tin.
Oh, we need copper and tin. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's some tin, but tin's super easy to get. Around here, at least. Alright, so we're getting close to the quarry. We can see some bad dudes down here. Can we fight them? What level are you? I probably can. Let's try. Can I pull you without your buddy? I hide behind this rock, and he has to come around. And then I go, hiya! Oh my god, that hurts so much. Oh god, there's another. Oh, nope, I'm dead. Oh god, I'm dead. Alright, well, there was a second base right behind me that I didn't notice. All right. Cool. Cool. Where am I now?
Have you tried
not
not
too bad.
dying?
Have I tried not dying? I mean, I tried it. It wasn't as fun. That could have been fine. But I didn't realize that that other building was also inhabited. Now, I don't actually need to get back to my corpse because I'm in, like, still the pretty much the starter area, so you don't even drop your stuff. It is a bit more spooky when you die. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. That's a wolf. And I can kill a wolf, but I can't skin it. At least I think I can kill a wolf.
I don't think I've actually killed any level 3 stuff yet.
Oh boy, I'm out of stamina. Oh god, I'm gonna die again. I'm gonna die again. Okay, this is not how to play this game. Let's actually let's dial in. All right, it's good to know that you can have two bodies on the ground at the same time. I could have absolutely used my spells on that too and been better off, but not by much. Also, I just noticed I have potions that I didn't use. How do I make it so I can use a potion like on the fly?
So the bottom row of your inventory has numbers.
Right. That's fair. But I have 1455 health, and this restores 8 regen. So I assume that that's what, 8, maybe 8 per second? This is stamina regen. Ooh, that would be good too. All right. Once more into the breach. I found my body at least. Yeah, it's a lot more fun when, like, you have, in order to find your body. See, yeah, it says my body expires in 2 days. So you've usually got plenty of time to get your body back. But you do, outside of this area, you drop all your stuff. There's the wolf again. Got it. So it is a bit nerve-wracking to have to go and get back your stuff when something killed you while you're naked. Especially since it picks the nearest shrine, which, so the time that this happened to me, the nearest shrine was actually deeper into the more dangerous area, not where I came from. Okay, so let's go ahead. How do I... This is a dead end. That's what's happening. I need to go up to the main road. Go around these guys. You are also level 2. I have killed one of those wolves before. I just want to point that out. I promise. I seriously think, like, the difference in that fight was actually food buffs. Because if I had had even a little bit more stamina, I would have gotten the kill instead of died. Such a beautiful game. I want to point out that I have it turned down to its lowest resolution. Like, this is the worst this game can look, I'm pretty sure. I know that, what's his name? Marquis Dragon has been doing a lot of Pax Dei stuff. I know this because everybody has been... Anytime I've been mentioning Pax Dei the last couple days, they're like, oh yeah, that's that game that Marquis Dragon plays. So, but I haven't quite checked it out yet. All right, where we are... Oh, man, this guy Scuttlebutt, man. I've seen him the entire time. When I first got into the game, he was in the starter area with me, and he's like shadowed me, or we've been like side by side so much this game. It's been weird. I thought he was an NPC at first. Okay. Let's see. Here's the quarry. Is that what this is?
Yeah,
Is this a
that's
player
what
home?
No,
Oh,
that's
no, this is the
the
quarry.
quarry. Yeah.
Okay.
There'll be rocks and stuff that spawn there, but it looks like it's been emptied out.
Yeah.
And then if you look up the hill,
That looks likely.
nope. Behind you.
Behind me. That hill?
No, so hold on. Yeah, that hill.
Okay, so east.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I will say, just as a criticism, they have a bunch of seeds in this game, but there's no gardening. You can't plant seeds. Like, there's no farming on your plot, which feels like a big miss. And, like, sure, they could put it in later, but they called this 1.0. So they made a game about, like, building a little town and your little area, and they didn't allow, and they put in seeds, but didn't allow you to plant them, to grow them, and then was like, yep, this game is 1.0. That is by far the most, like, are you sure about that? Like, moment that I've had in this game so far.
They also say it's still early access, so
It is.
It's not a true 1.0.
Yeah, they've really stretched the definition of 1.0. I think that, so from their perspective, I imagine it's closer to like Eve Frontiers, where like as soon as they decide that they're going to stop wiping it, that will be 1.0. Not necessarily how feature complete it is, but how persistent the universe is, right? That could be the reason why they made that
it was
distinction.
on the other side of that tower.
What is this? Mustard. I haven't figured out what to do with mustard yet. Nice.
It's like the tin and iron deposits, but it's more white.
Right.
It might also just have not respawned yet.
Boo. All right, well, we'll just keep looking for stuff then. Maybe there's more around here? Ooh, maybe it's... That might be copper. Either way, could be good. Let's go down there. Oh, 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 oh. Leaning in order to try to look over the edge. Okay. Maybe waiting on weather tech? Oh, that could be true. I'm just saying, like, I was very disappointed to find out that the farming wasn't into the game yet. Reeds. We don't need more reeds. We have so many reeds. Rain lily, though. That might be good to have. I do love the fact that, like, our axe is good enough to chop down, like, the biggest birch tree, but is not good enough to cut down even the smallest fir tree. Okay, well, at the very least, we'll get some copper while we're here. Copper can be valuable, too. Oh, and we got alfalfa, which gave me a new recipe, which means I don't have any of it yet. So that's perfect. New things means new things to extract, which means new things to learn. New potions to make. So this game is free until the 26th, I think.
Yeah, till Monday.
And then also is like 40% off until February, and there's a few other things too. I have a link down below to like the official press release about the free thing and how it all works, if people are interested. Also, if people are interested, we're in Innis Gallia Langris. But if you actually want to like know that for real, go ahead and hit us up in Discord, and we'll get you integrated
US
pretty easily.
East.
Oh yeah, US East. There's like it's the RP server. I figure I didn't even know what an RP server meant at the time, but I figured like that could be a cool thing to check out. And yeah, they might be waiting on WeatherTech. My point was more the like when I hear 1.0 release, I hear that it's like feature complete, or not feature complete, but like is the game. Like you might be able to do expansions after that, but like you think that there's a certain completeness to the mechanics. So it's more to point out that that's not necessarily true. I think it's more about the stability of the platform than the completeness of the mechanics. I do know that a big piece of the 1.0 was the combat overhaul, which I've heard from a lot of people that the updates that were made to 1.0 were overall pretty good. Let's see, is there anything down here? It's just going to be reeds and clay down here, I think. So, okay. Let's go back to near the quarry, and we'll go north and see what's there, because that was where we were already going to go. And where we were supposed to go didn't work out, so... Oh. Uh-oh. We are on the quest for limestone. Now, the thing is that it says limestone is like in barren areas, I think it is, or whatever. And so I think that that's part of the problem, is that this area is a little bit too lush for it. And it makes sense that it's going to be a necessary component for T2, or, you know, like higher, more advanced leather. And then it's also in kind of more out of the way or dangerous areas, potentially. Are you a thing? No. Are these the guys that killed me last time? Hey, I think, yeah, they are. I'm pretty sure those are. It does remind me a lot of, to a certain extent, New Age, but like really, oh God, like Valheim. That kind of game. What are you, Tin? Okay, well, I'll mine Tin then. Whatever. Now remember, I'm mining not just because I need the resource, but I'm also mining because I need to level up. Level 10 is like a big break point for leveling up your skills. Like that's how you get to, like I wouldn't be able to use an iron pickaxe until I get mining level 10, from my understanding.
Yep.
Which is to me a very frustrating mechanic in a game that seems to be trying to like create a simulator as much as they can. But like the idea that I'm not good, I need to swing more swords before I can use an iron sword versus a bronze sword. Like, I don't know about all that, but whatever. It is what it is. Conceits of gaming. I could see not being able to like mine a more complex rock, but the idea of like not being able to even use the pickaxe at all, it's like what is so significantly different about using an iron pickaxe versus a bronze pickaxe that makes it so that I need to be more skilled to use the iron ones? There are, I mean, obviously there are some things where that is true. You know, there's specialty equipment that requires, like, in the hands of an amateur could damage the equipment because it's more sensitive, even if it's more effective. But I don't feel like that's the case with iron versus bronze. If anything, it's probably the other way around. But who knows? Maybe I've played too much Minecraft. The inventory full already? What? Oh no! I thought I had plenty of inventory space. I guess I grabbed quite a few different things. Man, mining gives you so many different items. I don't need the strawberry right now. Tin ore. All right, I guess we should probably head back to the base and see what we can get while we drop things off. So far failed to find limestone, so we're going to step up to the next plan, or part of the plan, I guess. I do not need more wolfsbane. Not yet, anyway. Okay. Also, we can go check to see if there's anything that we can start cooking over in our various tools. Although something tells me Malak has actually done a pretty good job of keeping our stuff engaged and working on stuff.
Cooking stuff I haven't touched.
I meant all of the things that have timers, so like our glass.
Oh, yeah. I haven't looked at that lately, but yeah.
Okay, well then I will check it when I get back to base. I will say that, like, I kind of agree with the whole premise that they were saying. Like, the idea of a game being not worth the squeeze, as it were, in my opinion, almost felt like not a challenge, but like, ooh, cool, because like I tend to like the things that other people find a little bit too annoying to do, because then there's less people doing it. and the people that are doing it, like, I've learned that niche things are often a little bit better than mainstream things for various reasons. But I will say that, like, I do agree with the premise that if I wasn't working if this wasn't a thing I was doing with my friend, I don't know if I would have, like, done it for more than an hour. I'm gonna go and put a bunch of... Where do I put, like, mining stuff? This box,
So
right?
I have a barrel right
This
here.
barrel, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, tin...
Well, okay, so the ore you put in there, the, over
Oh.
here by the leather thing is where all the, I'll just call them precious metals. I assume that they're going to be needed for jewel crafting.
Yeah. Which I'm also going to be wanting to get into. Probably. Okay. I should be doing it. Yeah, no, one hell of a graphical overhaul to Eve. And as I've said before, this is actually sitting at like the worst graphics that this game can render. It gets a lot prettier than this, but my computer is barely clinging on at the moment. With trying to stream it and play it at the same time. So I need more charcoal, which should be being cooked up right here. Yep. So then I put that in here. And I can queue up. Cook some more glass. Do I have any more sand? I do not see any more sand.
I have 800. Oh, wait, let me. I forgot to set the new storage to clan.
Yeah. Oh, I have a little bit more sand. I think I have enough sand for now.
I have 800 sand in over here.
Okay. Perfect. All right, so that's all going. Let's go ahead and grab all of these flowers real quick. Because I think that these are going to go into other boxes. I just kind of dumped everything in here at one point. Just for, get it out of my inventory. Now we're going to try to see if we can condense any of it. Maybe. I haven't quite... I've allowed Malak's stuff to be the organized stuff and my stuff to be a little bit more chaotic and on the way.
In the drop-off basket are some chests that you can put down. They're 32 box storage.
That's good. At some point I'm going to sit down and actually like... I have, as you've seen, like, already put down some places. You know, like there are some baskets near the alchemy stuff that I'm probably going to be putting more of the alchemy stuff in. But especially since, like, so far I don't even know, like, what field any some of these items are even used in. Is kind of one of the... That's my biggest excuse for why I'm allowing things to remain kind of chaotic at the moment. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Let's go ahead and butcher these animal carcasses. Poorly parted boar. Perfect. I like poorly done things. Get my butchery up.
Yeah, the simple chest that's right next to you has a lot of carcasses.
I know. I was just trying to clear out my inventory.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just... Right, I need to chop trees.
Or shank meat. Does that get used in anything?
Yes.
Okay. Mountain roast? Nope, that's deer.
The other roast.
Woodsman roast. I need garlic, tallow, and shank meat. Okay, cool. Well, not worried about that right yet. There's the chests. Put some bone fragments in there. Whatever. Who cares? Oh, we got more jars. I care about that. Go ahead and craft some stuff. What do I need to do? I need to do Aegis potions, which is soapwort. So... where did I put my soapwort? Soapwort extract. Also, where is my actual soapwort? Because I'm going to need more extract probably at some point soon. I've learned my lesson about putting too many things in the queue at once because you can't unqueue things. So like, this thing was crafting this one type of extract for ever. It finally got done. Soapwort. I need charcoal and water. We have charcoal over here. And water over here. So we're going to go here and stick this in here and then just kind of craft as many of them as I need to. I'm just going to fill it up. So it's going to be crafting this for 80 minutes. But then I'll have plenty of them. Now then, Aegis Potion. Now watch, I'm not going to need them at all. No, actually, I can craft this one for a little while, I think. Because it's only a 3-star right now. Or 3 easy difficult. Yeah, I can get out all the way up to Alchemy 7 off of this one potion. And now I need more water. Who would have thought? You need a lot of water to make potions. I do continually think it's funny that, like, when you fail, you lose all the ingredients. It's like,
sometimes you get some ingredients back.
That's fair. But I mean, like, so, you know, I was cutting meat chunks into meat strips yesterday, and for some reason, when you fail that, you end up with nothing. Like, how do you cut up meat so bad that you don't actually end up with meat in the end? Or like every single time I make a potion, when I fail it, I must like shatter the vials in anger or something. And speaking of vials, I'm out of vials again. Boop, boop. I grabbed too much water this time. Let's stand on the fire. That sounds useful and good. Probably. And we'll put the soapwort extract here, because that's the one I'm most likely going to need again soon. And
more vials.
10 more, you said?
Yep.
That's 2 more potion sets. Let's do it. Actually, I think that that's perfect, because I think that that's all the amount of soapwort extract I have. Where's that water I just put away? Where? Okay. I just said I put the soapwort extract here so that way I could find it, and then I forgot that I put it there. That was fast. Welcome to ADHD. This game looks amazing at full tilt. I just wish there was more to do in it currently. Well, and that's the thing is that, like, well, we want to be honestly building like a really cool building. Seems like an interesting thing to like have be the thing that we're working on in the first place. But also there are dungeons and stuff, which is what ultimately I think we're all sort of hoping that we get good enough for. Excellent. Okay, great. Now we can go out and get in more trouble. All right. Right? Yeah. I guess I don't need these things on my hotbar. Like the pickaxe and the axe. Or even the skinning knife, because you just use E to activate those. So we'll just set it up like that. I need 4, 5, and 6 for my bow, my shield, and my sword. And then I need 1 for my crafting, and then my 3 potions. That seems fine. I'm sure I won't panic slam all of my top half of my number of buttons. Okay, so... Oh, right. Hold on. We need to actually find this stuff. So, Pax... Are you kidding me? All right, hold on a second. All right, hold on. Pax Dei limestone. There is like a, here we go, interactive map. Let me see if I can pull this up. So there's an interactive map, but our area is Innis. And so in Innis, we want to look up all gatherables. Oh boy, we don't want all gatherables. We want limestone. So limestone rock. Now, where, wait, hold on. So where's our area?
We're on the western shore of the kind of long lake. Wait.
Yeah. Well, our area starts with L, right? Ah, there it is.
Oh, yeah,
Found it.
Langers.
Okay, so here is the lake. We're going to look up limestone. And... is this working? Let's put up something that I do know. Nice?
I would love to know where some more beeswax, or not beeswax, bee-ball.
Well, oh, wait, Hellbore shows up. What? Is this not good? What happens if I do all? That's a lot of stuff. Okay, so it does have a lot of stuff. Clay. Where does this go? What is this? That's clay. Datura. All right, so if I turn this all off again and then go to limestone. This is not what... all right. I don't know if this is fully working, so hold on a second. Hold on, I went... Here we go. I looked up limestone in the database, and then you can go to here and see. Okay, great. So this is the limestone locations that we were looking at, and we can see like, okay, well, he must have been around these two. So there is these other ones potentially, but also there's a whole bunch of them right here by the boundary of the world, or by the boundary to the next area. So we're going to go and sweep through here, see if we can get any of these ones. I think this is basically what we already checked, but we are going to check near the boundary at the top, and then we'll swing down along the boundary to look here and hope this thing isn't too spooky. I don't even know what that is. So we'll find out. And boop. All right, so let's go. I do wonder, because I watched the thing, and that's what got it into my head that like one of the big things I want to do in my house is like have a library. But now I'm wondering whether or not you can even like collect books and bring them home. I don't even know if that's a thing. Maybe he was like, because it was just about lore and the possibility of there being, or like the lore in the game. So maybe he was just like waxing poetic, not an actual thing in the game, but at this point anything's possible. All right. Not quite there yet. And we're going to need however much limestone we end up finding, probably. What is those things? What are those things? Those things look different. Hopefully they're different. Maybe they're... Now, is that just tin? The quarry is respawned at the very least. So what is this? Oh, there's Scuttlebutt. It is tin. Well, this is copper. So a whole bunch of tin and copper have respawned here. This is what the quarry looks like when there's lots of rocks still in it, I guess. But none of these are the ones that we actually want. And if we mine a bunch of these rocks, we're going to end up with our inventory full again. What is... are those going to be good? Hold on, let's see. The map itself showed that there's one south. We're going to go check that out. Of the quarry. I don't like goats. Okay. Well, I get... Looks like the goat doesn't care if I don't like it. The reason why I don't like goats is because our skinning equipment isn't good enough.
It should be able to skin it.
My tool's not strong enough.
Oh.
Too hard.
Maybe it's only one type. Maybe there's 2 different type of goats.
That's very possible. I feel like it would... Wait. Oh, is this... Oh! I found it!
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, can I keep mining it? Yes. What happened? Did it just like respawn as soon as I mined it? Well, I don't know what happened there. I feel like I'm breaking it apart, but there's just keep being
sometimes
more.
there's 2 like right on top of each other.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I'm gonna eat. I just feel like I keep breaking this thing down and it keeps being here. But I think now it's getting smaller. Yeah, now it's finally getting smaller. Okay, so how much limestone did I get out of that? 93 out of 1 rock. Okay. So they're hard to find, but when you do, it's a lot in one. Which also means that they're going to be a little bit harder to find in the fact that, like, I might have been looking for like a group of rocks when really I should have been looking for like a single rock. Let's see, the map shows it as being kind of towards the edge of this dark area. What is happening? Why am I... Oh, so it's trying to set the kill mark. I don't need that. So at the end of this darky area, like near where this plant is on the map. Ooh, is this it? No, this is copper. Yeah, copper. Oh, yeah, this is also copper. We'll still mine it though. And one more. I do feel like the idea of having a sandbox game that is centered around the idea of your player built structure, or you know, the player home, is so like good. It feels like it should have been intuitive. I don't know. This goes back to the idea of that, like in EVE Online, I'd really like it if you could not just build a structure, but build up your structure. Not just make a house, but make a home, you know, that kind of thing. As like your group project, as a sign of like your group's continued effort together. I feel like that's a huge piece of what EVE is missing. EVE Frontiers is trying to capture it a little bit more. This game captures it a little bit more. But, you know, I think that the reason why these kind of games keep getting like made and tackled with, even though, you know, it isn't necessarily popular, is because like there is this idea, like player housing, making player housing work. Player housing is one of those things that everybody asks for, everybody expects, everybody wants, and then like the actual act of like the reality of it ends up being not necessarily great. Either, you know, everything from Final Fantasy XIV's raffle system, always getting a lot of criticism, to, you know, World of Warcraft, where people wanted, you know, the housing, and then immediately there was a kind of a divide within the community because people would make, you know, giant statues with penises on their plot, you know. Making an area, making a game in which the people build a world together has been like the dream of MMOs since Asheron's Call 2 or more, or earlier, and getting people to buy into it, convincing, mechanically, like encouraging people to participate in the world authentically, as opposed to the way that the internet engages with most things, has been, of course, like the monumental struggle of a lot of games, both big and large. And this game definitely doubles down on that idea, which, like, as a consequence of that, I think that a lot of the things that you see here, including the fact that it is, oh, hey, look, somebody's home right here. Did this guy find like one piece of limestone and build a house just so that he could be right next to it? Is that? No, maybe not. Uh-oh. Boar. And man, boars are one of those things that when I first started the game, they frightened me. But now that I have like proper equipment, yeah, we'll dunk on some boars. Ooh, is that it? That might be it. Is that tin? Please don't be tin. It's probably tin. Impure iron. Do we need iron?
Hey, you can mine it.
I can mine it.
We do need it. Eventually, like, I will be able to make the tools for it, but I can't make anything out of iron yet. Something
tells me we will need it when we need it. No wonder the guy told me that I was lying. Because I was like, I don't even have the capability of mining iron. He's like, you liar. And I'm like, know, but I didn't realize I did, I guess. But like, I think this goes back to like kind of what Joshua Faze and Callum Upton, or Callum, whatever, the other guy that he talks to a lot about these kinds of things. They're talking about like the idea of play to earn, you know, that whole idea that kind of was really popular, especially when crypto was first becoming a thing within gaming. The idea that like someone can like make a living or monetary value out of their gameplay in some meaningful way. And the problem with that is like a concept for a game is that in order for it to be a thing that somebody's willing to pay for, it's got to be a thing that people don't necessarily want to do, right? And so like the underlying point to that is that the consequence to this idea is that like the thing must be work, it must be boring, or it must be annoying or hard to do or whatever, or it must not be fun, you know? Otherwise, if people were willing to do it for its own sake, then no one's willing to pay you for it, right? And you know, that isn't necessarily 100% true, but that is the main like design issue that you're running into with it comes to these kinds of things. And so like the reason why I bring that up is because in a world like Eve or even this game, like the idea of the sandbox nature of it, you know, if people can just do whatever they want, if there's no work that goes into putting the stuff up there, then there's no value in the effects on the sandbox. Like the reason why EVE Online works is because of all of the amount of work and effort and stuff that it goes into maintaining those you know, your effect on the sandbox. The reason why you're able to affect the sandbox as well as you can is because it takes a lot of effort and time and energy and coordination and the result of those things. And even then, if you're not able to maintain it, it doesn't stay. You know, it only gets to exist in the universe as long as someone is there willing to maintain it. And that is necessary. It's a necessary component to making the sandbox be valuable. You know, the Imperium and everything they've done is impressive and worth talking about because of the amount of work that it represents. And people collected together to do that work together because it was necessary to make that kind of impact in the game. People pooled together, people, you know, a leader builds a vision, people rally behind that vision, etc., etc. And so like the more pure, the more real a sandboxy kind of game is, the more it's probably going to require, at least the developers are going to assume it's going to require a lot more tedium work, you know, grinding, whatever you want to call it, in order to maintain that. You know, you've got to earn your right, as it were, to participate in the wider field. You know, like in this game, and this is kind of popular, you know, paying for your plot. You know, you have to literally buy in order to have your spot within the universe. So I think that we need to be prepared, as I've said many times with Eve, you know, if you want to live in a sandbox, you got to be prepared to build your own castle. You know, you can't both have an open sandbox and have everything given to you easily and fun and get participation trophies and feel well rewarded. The counterpoint to the more you want a sandbox, the more you are resisting extrinsic rewards, right? Like things, the responsibility that comes with living in a sandbox is you must bring the intrinsic reward, right? People talk about CCP needing to make conflict drivers. Well, in the earliest days of Eve, the conflict driver was the name of our alliance is Curse Alliance. We live in Curse. This is our home, and we're going to fight to the death about it if anybody tries to take it from us, right? It wasn't about who can own the most skyhooks or how you can, you know, whatever. Now, obviously, the game evolves over time as like the society within that game evolves over time and people kind of understand things, and so our calculations become far more mechanical. But the point of the matter is that the reason why those early rivalries and conflict and everything were so good was because they were player driven. You know, if you're going to live in a universe that is player driven, then guess what? The rivalries, the conflict must also be player driven. You can't be like, oh my god, this needs to be a player driven universe, and then sit back and wait for CCP to give you a reason to fight another player. Fight another player because he looks funny and isn't your banner, and now you want to hurt, ruin his day, and they want to ruin your day or whatever, right? Like, that is our responsibility in a game like this. So, is there a lot to do? I don't know, but like, building your own goals and trying to make that work, that's the thing to do. Which is why I don't like that gardening doesn't exist. I'm putting the limestone in the I guess the trade basket.
Okay.
So now that I found limestone, I don't know exactly what to do. We could go to that other place. Yeah, now I don't know what to do. I'm bored. I guess I'm just going to quit. No, just kidding. I'm also going to put all my other ores in here. Here's copper. I don't think I grabbed any tin this time. I think I avoided tin. And then the gemstones go over here? Not that one.
The barrel.
Not that one. Oh, the barrel. That could be a thing to get into. Let's check out jewel crafting. Let's see what I can do with jewel crafting. What does that take?
I need to make iron things to be able to make the basic jewel crafting thing.
Got it. That's interesting that certain crafts are actually like behind certain tiers of production.
Actually, I only need one iron knife blade. I might be able to make that now.
Oh, I need to cut more wood, I think.
Oh, I have one already.
Oh, no. We've got lots of charcoal now. At least for now. Okay.
Let's see. Next time glass is done, I should be able to make it.
Oops, these also go in this barrel. I don't know where the rest of this stuff goes, so I'm going to just put it in my unsorted stuff. Although that's sand, but whatever. And that should just about do it when it comes to inventory. Okay, so what's next? We don't have any more jars. So there's no more that. Do we need anything else? What can I find? I still want to go check out this area over here, which has all of the limestone, now that we found a little bit of limestone. So we're going to follow... We're actually going to go south and then head east.
A whole lot of limestone.
That's fair, but I just haven't been there before, so I'm going to go over to where that, like, all of the limestone was. Just so I can see what a lot of limestone looks like. Oh, this is the road I want. My kingdom for a horse. I'm going to close this now. Hopefully that'll help with any computer issues. By the way, again, I'm very sorry about how the last stream ended. That said, I did like Google the issues because it was really weird to have my whole computer lock up, but never go to a BSOD or something like that, right? Normally, like if there's a huge problem with your computer that locks everything up, within like a minute or two, you get a blue screen of death, and then you get like error codes to look into and all that stuff. So the fact that it didn't recover and it didn't like fail out completely was my clue that something weird was going, like even more weird was going on. So I Googled it and I found a solution, like doing like disk checks, and that's possibly what it was. And in fact, when I did the checks, it said that it found some stuff and it fixed it. So let's hope if it fixes it. I knock on wood, I haven't had any problems since then. Although I haven't really recreated the exact scenario again yet. But I figure that this game is going to be, you know, demanding enough that maybe it does. Maybe it would. So like these abilities that I have that I'm using when I attack actually come from having a sword. When I had a spear, I only had one ability. And I think you can look at the sword.
Well, the first tier weapon only gives you one ability. The next tier up gives you the full 3.
Ah, I see. Oh, it's right here. Got it. Righteous Strike. 160 damage. Each strike fills you with Divine Rapture, increasing attack speed by 3 and movement speed by 2 for 10 seconds. Each stack is up to 4 times. That's the one that I can use like a lot more frequently. And then the kick. Perform a kick that deals 159 and interrupts enemy spellcasting. That's cool. And... no? That is definitely not what I wanted to do. Can I... how do I, like... How do I, like, keep it open so that way I can scroll? I just want to see what the Crusader's bid does. Dang it. That's so funny.
I look at it in the crafting screen, so
Oh, hey, let's check that out. Sword? I can't craft it though, so never mind. Bronze sword blade? No. Bronze broadsword? Hey, wait. Can I scroll now? I can finally scroll. All right. Based on the amount of Divine Rapture stacks on you. Oh, okay. So I'm using this ability wrong. I need to do Righteous Strike first, do that like twice, and then do the Crusader's bid. Okay, cool. Glad I looked. Oh, I'm on the wrong I'm on the wrong road. I want to be going east. But to do that, I want to go north first. Oh. Okay. So... I bet you I can link back up with the road on the, like, over on the, towards the east. So we're going to head there. Like, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm pretty sure that castle is player built. Like, that's a clan. That's a clan's castle. Which is crazy to me. Like, that looks so good. Oh yeah, and they even have like a market stall out here. Yeah, I can buy stuff from them. And it even says who's selling it. Zach, this is Zach's stuff. That's cool. Man, this game's pretty.
Not even on high graphics.
It not only not on high graphics, but literally on the lowest graphics it can be on. How is my computer doing? Actually not doing too bad. Let's try turning up the graphics a little bit. Will that work? Now, some of this still looks a little bit weird. Ooh, is that motion blur? Some of it does look still not that great because it's on the upscaling thing. Show motion blur is turned off. Let's just go with quality. Oh yeah. So now it's going to be a lot more choppy, but a lot better of an idea of what it looks like at higher graphics. But I can't play it at this. I mean, I could play it, but I'm not going to make you guys watch it at that quality or that jankiness, I guess is the best way to put it. Let's go to performance at least. Does that do it? This could be a good middle ground. We're just going to put this back at low. There we go. It's a little bit better. I've it's bumped up a little bit in the upscaling thing. This is still going to be a cliff, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Okay. Wait, no. I also got to look to see if there's any flowers around here, because there might be stuff that I need that I don't find other places. Some flax is always kind of good. We did a whole adventure to go find flax the other day, but now we should have plenty. Where are we going? Okay. Yeah, so that area over there.
Yeah, I haven't
orangey
even
mountain
touched
area.
tailoring yet.
Yeah. What is this? Nice. I'm assuming windmills are like for grain or whatever. Maybe flour. Maybe. I don't know. But you can't grow wheat. Huh. I don't know. I don't know what windmills are for. Is that tin? That looks like tin. No. Is that Nice? It is Nice. All right, I am. Wow, that place is cool. I'm gonna go see if we can break into that house because it looks like they put some work into it, and I want to see what a real like. I'm gonna call this end game place looks like. Somebody gave a shit when they made this. Wow. Oh boy, I can definitely see where the factory is, as it were. Okay. Definitely still very utilitarian, but also very pretty. A staircase. Oh yeah. There's all the looms. More staircases.
Alright, I put the things to make the jewelry table in the transfer bucket.
Excellent. Yeah, this place is cool. I wonder how much resources and time and energy and like whatever went into the production of this thing. Oh, hey, so if you see a box like this with a heart on it, it usually means that this is a public container, so it's kind of like a grab bag for people if you're interested. So I don't really see anything here that's gonna like jump out at me. Oh, wait. Do you want beehives?
No, I got lots of those, and I've got beehives already making honey and beeswax.
Okay. What are you? Are you a boar? Yes. And QF. Dead.
I need more wood.
All right. We need to go, yeah, over here. There's a boar. Oh, there's another boar. Being able to kill boars in 2 hits is very satisfying after running away from them for 2 days. Oh, is this Nice? This looks like it might be Nice. It is. That means that this is also probably Nice. Yeah. Okay, so then up here in the mountains are where the limestone is going to be. More likely than not. And I guess the real reason why I'm coming here is because if this is a different biome, and that's why there's a lot of limestone here, then I wonder if there's anything else that's here that isn't in the other biomes that we've been checking out. Oh, what just happened? Why is it suddenly so smoky? Was that just the biome shifting? Hold on. That's very jarring. Yep. Okay. So here is clear. Over there is clear. And now it's all foggy. That's how weather works. Nice. And these things are like the respawn shrine. So if I die, this is where I'm going to wake up. I don't... Okay, yeah, this is fine. I don't want to go across the other area. I mean, I guess I could. It's not that big of a deal, especially if I can safely get back and forth, because there's this respawn point right here. But if I die, I will... Like, if I go across the border and then I die, I do have to get my body back. Otherwise, and I'll have nothing until I do. Which can be exciting. Which means, if I'm going to pick a fight over there, I need to make sure to draw the fight away from where I find the guy. So that way, if I do have to run back, I don't have to fight the guy naked. Wait. Okay, Nice again. What is that? Is that anything? What is this? 10. What is this? Nothing? It's nothing. Okay. That's a cool castle. Oh gosh. A level 3 boar. An old boar. Got him. Got him. Can't skin him. But wait, can skin him? No, can't skin him. Can't skin him, but got him. All right. Is this limestone? I found limestone. I guess I might as well bring home enough limestone that we don't need to worry about it for a while. Let's eat. Has any of you guys actually tried this game before? Or is this new to everybody? There was somebody that was asking me a few months ago if I was going to cover this.
We can make alcohol now.
Yay! Always a big milestone. What is that? Is that iron? That tin? It's tin. And Nice. You know what? I actually need Nice. Let's get some Nice while we're here. Interestingly enough. What is Aurum ore? I guess that... well, Aurum would be gold, right?
Yeah.
Smelts into coins and ingots. Nice, granite, and limestone. So that's a reason to mine Nice deposits instead of just picking it up off the ground, I suppose. Although I've gotten, what, exactly one so far?
I have
I've gotten
14 here.
Oh, there is copper too. My inventory is getting full up though. What is this? More impure iron. Wow. Okay. Well, I know where we're going when we need iron. Yeah. Well, this place.
Oh, there's iron really close to us, actually.
Okay, but there's a lot of it here. Yeah, if we came here, we'd be able to get so much copper, Nice, and iron.
Copper's good.
Yes. So I'm going to mine that too. We're just going to keep going. What are those? Wait, there's a plant there. There's a plant there, and I don't know if I recognize it. Looks like an orange thing, maybe? Or, I don't know. What is this? Cloudberry. You are not new, apparently. Twisted Hawthorn? Does not. I do not have the capacity to cut that down, and it says it's bad luck anyway, so cool. Impure mining, or iron? What is this? Oh, cloudberries. These totally look new. Okay, so these are edibles. It's so weird that, like, with eating, you can eat as many different things as you want, but you can only eat one at a time. It's like, sorry, you can only eat one sausage, but you can eat a sausage and meats and 6 different kinds of berries and a cooked shank, and I actually don't know if there's a limit, but one thing I will say that I appreciate about alchemy is that in a lot of these games, you collect sand, and then it, like, sand always becomes like the thing that you don't really need that much of. You can make it into glass, but like that's only like so necessary. But suddenly all of this excess sand that I have is actually useful in this game. So yeah, this place is, I'm gonna mark it on the map real quick. Add remove marker. Control click. Mining. There we go. Oh, wait, that could be a new item, the berries, but if it just didn't, if it wasn't an alchemy thing, then it wouldn't unlock an extraction recipe. So that might be the reason why I didn't get a recipe for picking it up.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We also did a lot of exploring and picking up random stuff on the first day.
No, that's true, but I'm just saying, like, I don't remember seeing these before. I've been trying to keep track of, like, what kind of things I found. I'm bad at it, but trying. Alright, well, apparently my job is to now bring home a lot of copper. Stamina, stop it! Okay. Any more that I can grab pretty easily. I'm basically full up on inventory, but let's try to mine one more and then head home. And then we might want to just go and try to, like, kill some bandits just to see how that works, or show off a little bit. But I don't know. Maybe. You know what? I have to actually go past this place to get home, so I might as well just use it to travel. They're gonna give me a Hearthstone. I might as well use it. Oh, computer chugging. Oh god. Computer chugging. Oh no. Basic forge. Can't do anything there. Can't do anything there. I don't think I'm... straw. Oh, I guess because I have the... Wait, sand from Nice? That's a thing? So you can just turn Nice into sand?
Yes. I've never used it.
I mean, it'd be a decent way of getting your carpentry leveled up. If that's what you wanted to do. I should turn a bunch of bone fragments into sewing needles for the purposes of getting tailoring up. Okay, linen string. Hold on. Oh, I can turn large amounts of flax into string. Okay. So that's even more of a reason to get flax, which is good because there's a lot of flax in this area in particular. So maybe I should spend some time collecting a bunch of flax and then turning it into linen or whatever before returning home. Not before returning home right now. I mean, like in some hypothetical other excursion. I got to get home and drop this stuff off now. I have 57 copper. And 94 more limestone.
How much copper?
57.
Okay.
Hey, look, see, there's more flax there, but I'm not gonna. Yes, I am. I'm gonna pick them up until they tell me I can't anymore. Because I have a slot for flax. There it is. At least fill up the slot. Come on. Oh, come on. Don't waste my sprint. So what do you guys think so far? Is this something that you might be interested in checking out? Is this something you might be interested in me showing off more?
Someone on the Discord say that you convinced them to get the game once they get the tax return.
Oh, fair enough. We got one. I don't know if there's like a code thing that you could do to get a thing, like to give, like for a referral thing. Maybe? I'll have to check. Hold on. Let me see. We pull up the browser window. Okay. So we can see here. All right. 26th, you'll be able to play it for free. You get a token for 1 free plot, the premium status, and 100 grace. And then once the free weekend ends, players who wish to continue their journey must purchase the base game, which is at a 40% discount until February 2nd. And there's a 2-day grace period after the event to purchase the base game. I assume that means that if you do not purchase it within that period of time, yeah, it even says so. If you choose to not acquire the base game right away, your plot gets removed from the world. And that is one of the biggest complaints or whatever criticisms I've seen levied at this game in like the comments and stuff, is that if you ever allow your account to lapse, your entire plot is destroyed, like even for like a day. So that is kind of the big like pain point that a lot of people have been expressing, is that this is people were likening it to extortion, where it's like, oh yeah, I hope you like all this awesome stuff that you've built. Would be a shame if something bad was to happen to it. Their character and everything they crafted will be waiting for them in their redeeming queue. You'll just need to find a new place to rebuild. Okay, that's cool. So all crafted items, materials, and character progress will be safely stored, but your plot is removed. Yeah. So if you are going to go away from the game, you got to make sure that your stuff is on somebody's plot that isn't going to go away or on your main character. Not a fan of the plot claim system. what would you want as an alternative? Like, genuinely, I'm curious.
Remember, like, this is the only way the game gets money.
No. So, Stealth, if you join a massive guild that already has their own castle, you don't have to pay anything because that's not your plot. That's somebody else's in the guild is paying the money. I don't know actually how that's actually a good question. I don't know how, like, the whole... And then it crashed. I don't know how, like, the whole shtick works. How do they pay for... So you have a certain number of plots. You can pay for up to 4 plots.
8
plots. So yeah, I'm not sure 100% like how that... we haven't looked that deep into, like...
I know to pay for the 8 plots a month, it's like $35 a month. But the low end is $4 for no plot or $7 for one plot.
Right. And once again, you can actually get 1 plot a month using just grace, an in-game effort. Guilds will be charging for... I don't actually... Again, that's a level of this that we have not engaged with at all. It's been just basically me and Malak and sometimes Clue against the world. It's not necessarily but you can see... I mean, both Malak and I are on the plot. I can show you the size of the plot when I get there. But like, so I just, in a game like this, the idea of like having plot claiming is so ubiquitous. I'm curious what other solution would even be a way to do it. I guess you could do the old Ultima Online way, where if anybody actually manages to kill you and get your key, they can just also rob your whole house. That was fun. Got him.
And I have like maybe half my plot with foundation on it.
Yeah. Although I may actually end up, once we give it crap about it, change around my plot a little bit, so that way our plots are a little bit more in alignment with each other.
Oh yeah, no, like I'm not carrying too much more than what I have already, just because like I know, at least with my fun situation, like I'm gonna have a couple days of not having bit the base game, and
that's fair.
like
Good luck finding
kind of up and go.
a plot with full flat land for building. I mean, well, I picked my spot for the view, so it is actually on a hill. But I also kind of wanted it to be on a hill.
Definitely on a hill.
Yeah, but I mean, the foundation makes it work pretty good. I don't know. There's plenty of flat places. If we go 8. So here we can see like our plots actually like go up against each other. I don't honestly know how he managed to do this, to be honest, but like you can see that like my plot was a circle, and then he put his plot here, and it somehow extended my plot out to go like match up with his.
Because we're in the same clan, I think.
Well, yeah, well, whatever it is, I'm just saying, like, you can see that it happened. That's all I'm pointing out. Like, it actually gave us extra space based on that, because it wasn't just two circles, like, barely touching or overcrossing. It kind of filled in the gaps between them, too. So, it's not terrible. You know, over here you can see that his is totally circular because he doesn't have anybody else next to him, I guess. And we can go, like... New plot? Oh, I can't because I don't have any tokens. Alright. In other pay-to-play MMOs, you're just paying for the ability to play. In this game, you're paying for the ability to have a large guild hall, multiple crafting stations. That's how I see it, at least. Well, yeah. And, like, the idea that, like, being behind, like, putting behind payment is where you put, like, all of your, like, land ownership and crafting and that kind of stuff is not an unpopular way of doing it. Again, especially with, like, a more sandboxy game, because you're literally getting people to buy in order to participate, which probably helps a little bit. And getting people to, you know, behave themselves.
Like, you compare it to Eve, and, like, it's, like, almost 3 times as cheap.
That's also true.
And there's no, like, cosmetic store.
Yet, no.
I mean, true. Could be yet.
That we know of. Compared to Eve, you lose your Titan if your Omega sublapses. Well, yeah. Well, that's so. It would be that is slightly unfair, but it would definitely be like your keep star stops working. But even that, like, it is absolutely true that, like, the fact that it is permanently destroyed if you lapse for even a little bit, like, that's pretty harsh. But again, like, what's the alternative? Just let people keep buildings up for a long period of time without any kind of contribution? You know, like, one of the things I'm actually kind of interested in is, like, if I do keep playing and if I do pay for it and if I play past this weekend, is, like, watching what structures around here, what buildings stay and what buildings go. Because, like, everybody here, or, like, a lot of people, a lot of these buildings are fair weather friends, you know. A lot of these buildings around here are people that are probably not going to stay invested in the game. And so, yeah, you want to clean that stuff up. So you got to have rules. But they definitely erred on the side of, like, the strictest version of it. But I am very curious now about, like, the relationship between plots and guilds. Because, like, does one person, or do people have to pay for the plot individually, and then that plot, like, they said it's a clan and that's the clan's plot? What happens if that person stops paying? Do the rest of the clan members at least get a chance? I shouldn't say clan members. Do the rest of the members of your guild get a chance to claim the plot, to pay for the plot, to make sure that the guild doesn't, like, lose half of its castle? Decay, building up cape with in-game resources. That's actually a good idea too. The idea that you have to constantly, like, if you don't repair it, then it does. You know what? I'm with you on that. I actually dig it. I would love it if, like, a plot that isn't, rather than the plot completely disappearing, it'd be kind of cool if it just became unprotected. So then people could ransack it, and then it also, like, deteriorates over time. That could be good. Oh my gosh, more phone calls. All right, and that is my cue to start wrapping things up. Not like urgently, but I need to probably be done in the next 20 minutes or so because my son's coming over. Yay! So, yeah, just let me know if there's anything else that want to check out with this, or, you know, like I said, there have been some requests to check this out because it is close to Eve. So here we've looked at it. There are definitely, like, if you want more about the mechanics or whatever, there's obviously other videos that exist that will help with that. I didn't want to, like, yeah, I just wanted to show off a little bit of the gameplay. That's all I wanted to do today. But I think we might be continuing to play this. So if you people are interested, hit me up in the Discord. We can get more people in our clan and we can start, like, you know, seeing about doing stuff. I am honestly very interested in, like, the dungeons and the group content, because they keep saying, like, oh yeah, this game is bad because it requires people. Well, if we've got people, then maybe we can make it good. I'm interested. So yeah, just let me know. So next week, though, I don't know if I'm going to stream this weekend. Probably not. If anything, I want to work on, like, some edited videos or whatever, but we'll see, because as I mentioned earlier, I'm very bad at that. So let me know how important those edited videos are to you, like the tanking guide and the lore stuff, so that way I can get around to it. No, but next week, I'm actually not going to do a poll for next week, because I want to do more faction warfare next week, because we didn't really get to dabble in it this week because of everything happening. So we'll do more faction warfare next week, and if you are part of the convocation, we can do some faction warfare this weekend as well. Although I have no idea, because, like I said, like, I thought that this was something silly to poke at, but since it's the free weekend for Pax Dei, there's been increasing people interested in playing this more. So yeah, I guess I'm just going to play it by ear. Yeah. So let's hope we get a Yantey election soon. Is there anything else that we want to talk about before the stream is over? Is there anything else I need to talk about before the stream is over? Is there anything I'm missing?
Not that I can think of.
Not that I can think of either. No, one last thing. I'm sorry, since you guys are here, forgot to cover this at the beginning of the stream. Worth noting now, this is Eve stuff, so perk up, I guess. This is the last chance to get mastery packs. They're apparently going to retire this set of mastery packs, and so they're selling this set of mastery packs at 50% off. That's actually pretty good. These mastery packs are really good opportunities for people to get a chunk of stuff in the game. I think it's, let's see, level, where are they? Where can I change this? Yeah, level 1 mastery pack, 15 days of Omega. 15 days of Omega for $5 right now. That's pretty good. And then mastery pack 2, 30 days of Omega for $10 with 100 plex and 250,000 skill points. Basically, anybody who has $10 that wants to take Eve seriously should probably at least consider this. You know, if you're paying for your subscription with money, you should probably pick up at least the level 2 mastery pack real quick. 60 days Omega for $25. That means that, like, normally it'd be 30 days of Omega for $20, but this also comes with 500 plex, so it's actually 3 months worth of Omega and 750,000 skill points and 2 cerebral accelerators for $25. That's amazing. All of these deals are incredibly good for what they are, and this is the critical part, because they're retiring these bundles, they're going to come out with a new bundle more likely than not afterwards. You know, they've done this a few times before. The level 4 is the one to get, to be honest. 90 days of Omega plus 1,000 plex, so that's 5 months worth of Omega altogether, plus 1.25 million skill points, and to multi-character certificates and 2 skill extractors, all for $60. That is incredibly good, actually. Yeah, that's stupid good. Level 5 is 180 days of Omega and 3,000 Plex. So that's... Wait, that's... So this is... Am I doing my math right? That's a year? Because 3,000 Plex is 6 months. 180 days is 6 months. So, yeah, a year of Omega, plus probably around 2 million skill points all told, plus 2 certificates and 10 skill extractors for $120. Yeah, all of these are great deals. These are some of the best deals I've ever seen in EVE. And like I said, these packs, when this is done, they will probably be replaced with a new set of packs. And what's cool is that will, like, you can only buy these packs one time for your character. But when they put out the new packs, you'll be able to get them that new pack too. So, you know, get the really good incentive for that. Like, they put these out there so that way somebody can get a really cheap first bite for Omega. And then, like I said, you can only buy it once per account, so then you have to get it again. But every few years, they redo the packs. So, would be worth looking into if anybody is interested. Yeah. But I think that about wraps things up. I have been Ashtarothi. I've been playing this game for, God, since 2010. I don't know how long that is. What is that, 16, almost 15, 16 years now? Jesus. Okay, great. Talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put EVE into context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and checking it out, and also checking out this other game that we checked out today, which was Pax Dei, also made by former CCP developers, so has somewhat of an EVE DNA to it, even if it's not EVE itself. But yeah, if you like the stream, please make sure to like it, comment, and subscribe. Share it with a friend if you think that they might be interested in this game, or in the New Eden news from this morning, or from the beginning. Also, I want to just give a special shout out to all of my top tier supporters. 745 NPSI, Arydanika the Queen, Bad Boy Smooth, Ebo Elite, Erladis, Elange, Flash Gordon, May, Malak Starfire, Malin, Mercuton, Mayak, Neelam, LM1, Sheesh, Susuro, Thrans, and Rid. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and thank you to all of the supporters who make this stream possible with their likes, subscriptions, and of course those who decide to go the extra mile to become a member or a patron, and those Immortal tier supporters who get the shout out of their name. If you want to come play EVE Online with us, the Convocation of Empyreans is recruiting. We are here to maximize player engagement with EVE Online, so we can help you do what you want to do. And we also have, like, mining operations and other fleet operations. Like I said, right now we're doing some faction warfare. We do a lot of different stuff. Also, if you are new to EVE, you make sure, or you have never done it before, you make sure to get that million free skill points. The link down below will give you that, and it does help those who help the stream. Even if you aren't interested in joining the convocation, please join the Discord and, you know, take part in our conversations. We help out people. We hang out in Discord and just chat about whatever it is that we want to chat about that day. And also, that is the best way to get news and updates about EVE, about the stream, because I post the information there in the EVE Universe Show channel and in the media channel where we post when things go live, as well as to supporters. If you are a supporter, if you have a membership in YouTube, make sure to tie your YouTube to the Discord, so that way you can get involved in the supporter only chat, where we talk about, where I try to get an idea for where people want me to go or what we want to do, as well as post really good pictures of my puppy, because everybody loves my puppy. All right. But I think that is about it for today and this week. So on behalf of, what the hell does that even mean in this case? Thank you so much, Malak, also for hanging out with me today on voice.
Bye.
But I've been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden. Until next time, I'll see you in space.
very soon.